Oh, hey everyone. My name is Nathan Jones, and if you're new here, welcome. I talk about all things movies, specifically Blu-rays, and today, actually it's tonight because I just had a really long day of work. So today is something really special. I want to showcase 13 titles that I'm really interested in exploring during the Halloween season because I am so happy that summer is finally dying. I cannot stand summer for the love of everything that's holy or unholy, because that's what we're going to be talking about today. You can see in my Black Phillip shirt that he does not like the summer. But anyway, fall's coming, so I want to showcase with you some of the films that I'm really excited about, and there's a few. I'm going to try to go in sequential order of when they came out from the year. I might jump around a little bit, but for the most part, there's a few things that I have seen, and I'm going to try to get those out of the way first, and then there are some things that I have not seen for the first time, and these are ones that I'm going to briefly talk about. So before I jump into these, I actually want to know down below in the comment section, what are some films that you are queuing up for October for the spooky season? I really want to know, and I'm super excited about it, and I know all of you are too. So that's why you clicked on this video, hopefully. So let's talk first about a film from 1922, one of the craziest films I've ever seen, and I freaking love it. It's from the Criterion Collection. What am I talking about? Let's jump into it. So the first film that I'm talking about is actually really related to this Black Phillip shirt, kind of in a way. I'm talking about the Criterion edition of Hoxson, or Haxon, however you want to say it. This is spine number 134 from the Criterion Collection, and this is such a wonderful film. It's directed by Benjamin Christensen, and who is kind of a cult person himself. I don't really know terribly too much. I need to watch the special features on this film because I've only watched Haxon at least once, and parts of the film a couple times. But for the most part, I'm still very fresh on this film, and I cannot wait to dive back in during this particular season because it's such a cool cult film about witchcraft, sorcery, demons, you name it, Satan, the devil. There's some really fun and kind of comical things in this film, but also super serious at the same time. It's this weird combination of all these different things. It's like a documentary, psychosexual in some kind of way, and it's just a really crazy time. So I'm really excited about Hoxson, and I hope you are too, because this is definitely the time to conjure up some spirits and some demons. And yeah, so Hoxson is my first pick. So let's move on from there to 3 films that I watched recently from Eureka. All right, so these next 3 films are from Eureka Masters of Cinema. These are spine numbers 233, 234, and 235. I'm talking about the Bela Lugosi set, an adaptation of Edgar Allan Poe. So we have Murders in the Rue Morgue from 1932, we have The Black Cat from 1934, and we have The Raven from 1935. And these movies are phenomenal. I love them. Just to give you kind of a little bit of a breakdown, Murders in the Rue Morgue is kind of like an adaptation of what a Universal film would look like in a German expressionist kind of vibe. So there's this thing going on where it's really a lot of Dr. Caligari worship, and I can definitely tell that they took a little bit of that liberty. But you have Bela Lugosi, who is really just hot off of Dracula, and he is just, he's stunning, and he's got this unibrow to him, he's got this look to him, and he looks terrifying, and he is a terrifying guy because he's trying to mix an ape with man, or a woman in this particular film. So it's a crazy film. It's a really short one. All these films are about an hour long, and it's a really good time. So I recommend that one. And then next is The Black Cat, which is actually probably my favorite film of this set. And The Black Cat actually has Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi in it, and they are battling, kind of like a prototypical Bond film. And it's really, really crazy, but there's obviously Edgar Allan Poe elements to it, so there's some horrifying elements to it because there's some torturous psychological games going on with these 2 characters, and there's 2 people who are involved right in the middle of it, a young couple who just happen to be in this, I guess Boris Karloff is a rich, I think, doctor of some sort, so maybe a psychologist, and he and Boris Karloff, or Bela Lugosi, sorry, they're old friends, but they really don't like each other, and there's some espionage going on too. So Black Cat is definitely a really good time, and I highly recommend it. So the third one is The Raven, and Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi are both in this film as well. Bela Lugosi plays that deranged person who had a client who he kind of just really fell in love with, and obsessed with. He became obsessed with this person, and she is not obviously obsessed with him. Now enter Boris Karloff, who is a guy who is on the run for murder. He wants to change his appearance. He heard that Bela Lugosi can do this, and so he changes his face in a very Frankensteinian kind of way, and really just sets up to where Bela Lugosi is going to use Boris Karloff to enact this revenge against all the people that, for this one particular woman who won't take him in. And it's just a really crazy time, and it's a really good set of films. So if you haven't, check out this Eureka Masters of Cinema set. This is in Region B, and so unless you are in the UK yourself or you have a region free player, you cannot watch these films, at least with this particular set. But it's a really great set, and I really love the artwork here. That right there is the Black Cat. There is the Raven. And if we do the slipcover real quick, you can see Murders in the Rue Morgue, and then some credits as well. It's just a really good set, and it's really fun. And this is probably going to be the last of the films that I have seen, so I can't really talk about too much more about the other films that I'm about to talk about. So let's just jump in right from 1935 to 1945. Moving right along to 1945, we have a film adaptation of a really fantastic novel by Oscar Wilde, and you know what this is because Oscar Wilde only really wrote one novel, and that is The Picture of Dorian Gray. This is a film that I'm really, really excited about. It has George Sanders, Herb Hatfield, who is Dorian Gray, and Donna Reed, and these are just some of the people in here. You also have Angela Lansbury, Peter Lawford, Lowell Gilmore, Richard Fraser, and it's directed by Albert Lewin. And so this is a film from 1945 that I'm just super excited about. It's out of the Warner Archive collection here in the US, and it's just something that I've always really enjoyed because I really enjoyed the novel, and I think it's a very chilling type of tale of vanity, narcissism, and seeing all that obviously in a portrait and in a man who is immortal. And so you kind of know who Dorian Gray is, but this is the film that I'm really excited about as I move into October. Moving on from Picture of Dorian Gray is a box set that I actually just talked about not that long ago, and so this is not a surprise, and it's not behind me right now, so you can tell it is a Indicator box set. I'm talking about the William Castle box set Volume 1. I also have Volume 2 behind me, which I'll probably watch as well, but this one has The Tingler, 13 Ghosts, Homicidal, and Mr. Sardonicus. And so these films are from, I believe, 1959, 1960, and then two of them are from 1961 in those particular orders that I talked about. But William Castle, I don't know terribly too much about him, and my friend Daniel from Cobwebs Podcast, who I've been on his podcast several times, I'll put the link down in the description. He is a really, really great source for all things horror, and he's the one who recommended this to me, and I just cannot wait to dive into this. I've heard it's kind of gimmicky, but at the same time really chilling. And so I think, what does it say here? When the screen screams, you'll scream too. If you value your life, yeah, if you value your life. And obviously, these are just really wonderful. This is 3,193 out of 6,000, so limited copies, right? Here are just some of the artwork. There's the Tingler. We have 13 Ghosts. We have Homicidal. And then finally, Mr. Sardonicus. And so, yeah, I'm excited about these. Spine numbers 94, 95, 96, and 97 in the Indicator lineup. And so, yeah, I love the heck out of this cover. It's just so chilling and so terrifying. And, it's a sell, and everyone already knows that. So let's actually move on from the Indicator box set to another film collection that I have had for a while, because I recently have been really interested in the Hammer Horror Dracula series with Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. And so I actually had to pick up Brides of Dracula somehow, and I got it in this set, this Hammer Horror 8-film collection. You've seen this before on my channel if you're not new here at all, but it has Curse of the Werewolf, Night Creatures, The Phantom of the Opera, Paranoiac, The Kiss of the Vampire, Nightmare, and The Evil of Frankenstein. So I'm super excited specifically about Curse of the Werewolf and The Evil of Frankenstein, and a few other of these titles, and I'm sure I'll get to them sometime. There's a lot of films, as you can tell, just by my one individual release. I'm counting this as like one of the 13 that I'm showing you, but this is really 8 films, right? So this is a really cool Hammer set. I would really like to get the Scream Factories of some of these films, and get the updated version where it gives you a lot more special features, but I need to watch the film first to really know if I actually am excited about it. So I want to know, what are you excited about in Hammer's lineup? If any of you are watching Hammer films, tell me down in the comment section down below. So we're going to shift gears actually from Hammer, so we're moving away from England. We're actually going to go to Japan, and I'm actually going to talk about 2 films that came back to back, and they're by 2 different Japanese directors. The first one is, and pardon my Japanese pronunciation because it's not going to be the greatest, but I'm going to talk about Onibaba from the Eureka Masters of Cinema. This is Spy number 55. This is directed by Kaneto Shindo. And I've heard really great things about this film. It's a psychosexual film that's really ahead of its time, kind of plaguing on the traditional Japanese culture during, I think, maybe the shogunate period, maybe a brutal history in Japan, right? And so, yeah, there's some really crazy things going on about this, but I've heard this is a legendary film, and I am super excited about it. And Eureka, once again, just like when we talked about the Bela Lugosi set, this is only available in Region B, and so I'm just super excited about it. And if you want to check it out yourself, then you're going to have to get a Region Free player or live in the UK, right? And so the next film that I want to talk about is actually an old release from Criterion, and I'm talking about Kwiden. And this is by Masaki Kobayashi. And this is actually Spy number 90, which is a really early Criterion, and I still haven't seen this film, but I've heard this is a chilling film. This came out in 1965. I had to check real quick, because 1964 was Onibaba, Kwiden is 1965. And so these are some really terrifying Japanese films that I cannot wait to dive into, and I probably will watch House as well, which I love that film. If you haven't seen House, that's a crazy film. Go check it out. This is definitely me just enjoying myself, giving you recommendations if you haven't seen these films, right? So let's actually move on away from Japan real quick to some other films. We're actually moving from Japan to Italy to Giallo. And so Giallo films are something that I'm still really kind of introducing myself to, and a lot of the Giallo films that I've seen are by this director. And this guy is probably the most famous Giallo director, and that's Dario Argento. This is one of the films that I haven't seen, one of his animal trilogy films, Cat o' Nine Tails. And so I have not seen this particular film, but I've seen Deep Red. I've also seen the Bird with the Crystal Plumage, and also Suspiria, of course. And so I'm just really excited to dive into more Giallo, that black latex and leather and blood and just gross feeling things. I'm excited to jump in with this particular cat. And so yeah, this is from Arrow, and this is a Region A, but you can get it on Region B as well, because Arrow is a UK-based release company. And so speaking of UK-based things, another thing that actually has a cat on the front is a film that I picked up. It was actually my first Indicator single release that I picked up because I didn't really know what I wanted. And I actually got the limited edition of The Legacy right here with Sam Elliott and Catherine Ross. This is from 1978, so it's a late 70s film. I really don't know terribly too much about it, but I did get the limited edition of it before it went out of stock from Indicator, and this is by number 147. I'm just excited about it because, I was waiting for Halloween to watch this film. And Sam Elliott in a horror film, I haven't seen him in any of those types of films before, so I'm just really excited about it. So let's actually move on from here to some other releases. Moving on from The Legacy is a film from 1983, and this is a film that I picked up, I guess in the last sale from the Warner Archive collection. I picked up The Hunger, and I really love vampire films. I don't know about you, but I'm super obsessed with people who have fangs and are like very sexual at the same time as well. I might be speaking too forward with all of you. But anyway, The Hunger has David Bowie, Susan Sarandon, and Catherine Deneuve. And I've heard really great things about this film, and actually my friend Daniel at Cobwebs have seen it, and he really enjoyed it. I think he did a podcast on The Hunger. But I am really excited about this because I love David Bowie as well, because David Bowie's a legend, and R.I.P. Anyway, I don't want to get too sad, but The Hunger is something that I'm excited about. I'm going to be watching some vampire films as well. I hope that you are all going to do the same. So let's actually move on from there to a film. I'm actually backtracking now because I wanted to talk about these next two films kind of back to back because these are recent acquisitions of mine, and I'm just excited to talk about them. The first one is from 1981, The Howling. Yes, I haven't seen this movie. I will definitely fix that. I've seen some of the werewolf transformation scenes, obviously, but I have not seen the whole thing. And so I'm just super excited about this. This is the Scream Factory version, the collector's edition, and yeah, I had to get this. Another Scream Factory that I picked up back to back with this recently was Pumpkinhead. And Pumpkinhead is from 1988, and yeah, my friend Daniel, once again, this is one of his favorite films of all time when it comes to these horror, kind of schlocky horror films, right? I probably put words in his mouth, but Pumpkinhead, I've heard, is really, really fun. Just know going in is going to be a schlocky, stupid, fun time, and that's what I'm going to do when I jump right into that film. And maybe I'm going to watch it with my guys, with my boys. You know, who knows? So let's actually move on from there to a couple more films. All right, so the last thing I want to show you is another release from Arrow Video, and this is actually a box set that I picked up. And this is something that I have been thinking about for the longest time, but just never pulled the trigger to get. That is the Ringu collection, right? Ringu, Ringu 2, and Ringu 0. So this is the original Japanese Ring films. And I loved The Ring with Sarah Michelle Gellar when I grew up. I was terrified by that film. And so I had to get this collection. I had to watch the original, and there's no better time than to watch it than Halloween, right? And during the spooky season. Also, I'm kind of worried about leaving my TV on, or at least coming home and seeing all this static. I might think of Poltergeist, but I also might think of Samara from Ring, the original Ring, right? So, but I don't know about this one. And so I'm super excited to dive into this box set. It's a really cool box set, and I got it during, I think, Camp Arrows when I picked it up. And so I'm excited to jump right into this. But yeah, those are my 13 titles that I picked up and that I am excited about. I've seen a few, obviously, like Hoxson and there was Bela Lugosi, Edgar Allan Poe adaptations. But what about you? What have you seen? What are you excited about? I want to know down in the comment section down below. What are you excited for this spooky season? I just want to know because I'm just super excited about it, and it's the middle of September. So thank you so much for watching this video. Give this video a like. Comment down below. Please tell me all the films that you are watching. Share it. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you next time. I'm not jonesing around.